Here in Lesson 3, we are going to learn a few more terms that will carry us through the rest of this chapter. So, the first term that we see is the term between. Now, I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with what the word between means, so I'm not going to belabor this too much, but I do want to show you the difference between the word between and then something that is not between. Okay, so we see here this first example. This is an example of points that are between. So point B is between point A and C. Okay, if we look at the example of not between, we see here that E, this point is not between D and F. So the idea is to be between something, it has to be collinear. So E is not collinear with D and F, meaning it's not in the same line. Therefore, it is not between. Okay, I think we're pretty familiar with that term, so I'm going to move on to the next one. The next term is what we call a segment. So a segment, we see here an example of what it looks like. And a segment is essentially a portion or a segment of a line. So remember, a line goes infinitely in both directions. So like up here we see this would be a line because it's got the arrows. It's going to keep going forever to the left and forever here to the right. So a segment is just a portion of the line. Okay, and for a segment, how we label this is we're going to use the 2 points that create the segment. So we see here point A is one of what we call the end points. We see that down here is another term. End point would be point A, and then point B is another end point. It is the point at the end of something. So the segment uses points A in this case and point B. So when we write this, we're going to use the points that we use. So A and B, write them side by side. And to show that it's a segment, I'm going to draw a segment above it. Okay, so that's what we have for segment. The next term is a ray. A ray, think of it as like half of a line. So remember, a line goes infinitely in both directions, while a ray goes infinitely in just one direction, in this case to the right. So a ray has an endpoint. We see that is point A right here. It is the end of the ray, it's where it stops. And then it goes infinitely to the right. Okay, B would not be an endpoint because it does not end at that point. It keeps going past that point infinitely to the right. And with a ray, how we write this is we use the 2 letters that we know, the 2 points on the ray. So here we have points A and B. So we're going to write A and B next to each other and then draw a ray symbol above it. So we see that right here. Okay, so we kind of side notes now that we have those terms. If we take a look here at this example, the one we just did, ray AB, so we write it like this right here. Notice it is not the same thing as ray BA. The reason is when we write a ray, we're going to use the endpoint as the first letter. So we said the endpoint is point A, because that's where it comes to an end. So we write the letter A first, and then the letter B after. The way we have it written here is we're saying that B is the endpoint, because it's written first, and then A is the other point, but that is not the case. Okay, another term to know based off rays is we have what's called opposite rays. So opposite rays are just how they sound. They are 2 rays that are pointing in the complete opposite directions. So notice, this is here what we have. We have ray BC. We'd write that as BC and then the ray symbol above it. We write the letter B first because that is the end point. Okay, so ray BC, and then we also have a ray going from B over here to A, creating another ray. So we have ray BC and ray BA, and those rays are what we call opposite rays. Now that we know what a line is a segment, and a ray, we need to make sure that we can keep those straight in our minds. So just a little those and comparing each of those. Here we see all three shapes represented. Okay, we see here, this is a line. It goes infinitely in both directions. This is a line segment because it comes to an end. It's a portion of the entire line. And here we have a ray. And then when we write these, okay, we're going to use the same letters for all three, in the way it's written here. Okay, the line uses the letters A, B, point A, B, because it uses those letters, and draw the line symbol above it. So we see that right up here. Okay, and then we have segment AB, we write like this. Since we're using the letters A and B, this would be segment AB, and we know it's a segment based off the symbol above it. We draw a line segment up above. And then ray AB starts at point A, this is the end point, goes towards B, so we write this as ray AB with a little ray symbol above it. And it could be different letters depending on the points being used. It could be line CE or CF or DG. It does not matter as long as you're using the points that are given to you.